Hello and welcome to this first look exploring session looking at a university witty play thing with these wonderful readers that we are going to have here. This is one of 4 videos with generic introductions looking at 4 different academic entertainment-y things that we're releasing this Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And yes, so we're having a bit of fun with some short pieces with Liza, Aliki, Eric, and Tom, and myself, Robert. And yes, we are now going to go into the play for this video, which is Boot and Spur. This is one of our more expansive academic entertainments, this video. It's a reasonably chunky one with a reasonably chunky cast. In fact, we don't quite have enough readers to do this one. We are going to be bouncing about the readers. One of us I'm going to step in and read a part that somebody else is reading at some point about halfway through. So this is a play. We don't really have any auspices for this at all, I think. I don't even think that anyone's even attempting to guess a uni, or in fact, it might not be university at all. I might have just lumped this with other texts. It could just be a general comic dialogue thing. So it might not even be performative. We shall see. It comes from around 1614 to 1617 is the dating range. Boot and Spur. And that seems to be a reasonably accurate title. That's the title we've got. It could be a dialogue between Boot, Spur, Pump and Slipper is another potential name for it. But Boot and Spur will do. So, we're going to rattle through this, find out, kick the tyres and see what we get out of Boot and Spur. So we start with a prologue.
Gentlemen, you must understand that a shoemaker is the showmaker. I have been these 2 days making a pair of boots, shoes, pumps, and slippers, and they had not been done yet, but that I went through stitch with them. These boots, methinks, should fit any man but those that are too big in the calf. These shoes will pinch no man but those that are troubled with corns. These pumps will fit any man but those that hold dancing to be superstition. These slippers, I am sure, will please any man but those that are out at heels. Howsoever, I'll try, for I'll go presently and pull them on. Only thus much let me speak in mine own defence. Spectators, muse not we speak of such mean things as these, or shallow wits wade not above the knees. These lowly things, I hope, will not distaste. Men of our trade go not beyond their last.
Enter Pump.
He that hath served in the office of a footman, as long as I have done, though he be never so light at first, ere the year go about will be a heavy man. Sure, I am born to run as long as I breathe. If the way had not been so dirty, I would have shown my master a fair pair of heels, for if ever he send me again to run such a way, I'll run quite a way. I have come today further than I hope I shall go tomorrow. For my master Boot will be sure to have his liquor ere he goes out of the town. The master hath sent me before to guide his inn, and I'll meet with him for it anon. Must go to the sign of the leg. There is my old friend Slipper. I must needs to him, for Pump hath always been very inward with Slipper. The sign of the leg is either in Shoemaker Row or Hosier Lane. I shall know it by this. It's a leg in print. I see by good fortune I have stumbled upon the leg at the first instep. What ho-ho! Chamberlain!
Anon, sir.
It is the trick of all these chamberlains, never to do anything at the first word. What chamber? Come away, be hanged!
Enter Slipper.
Anon, sir. What mine old companion Pump, whom I dwelt so long with, let Slipper embrace thee.
Oh, Slipper, I am glad to see thy heels at liberty. But I'll tell thee what, my master Boot is by this time at the next town.
In faith, he shall be welcome. He's a very good guest and will come off roundly, and therefore Slipper will always be ready for him.
I come. Let's see a chamber presently.
I know Master Boot is a neat gentleman, and therefore he shall have a handsome chamber presently.
Exit Slipper.
Make haste again. Oh, I never felt myself so weary in all my life. I perceive now, poor Pump, that thou art even past the best such another journey as this. Will weary thee quite out.
Enter Slipper with a jug of beer.
Ah, no, thou art weary, Pump. Come, follow me into this room. Here, Pump, I'll give thee a slash.
Drinks.
Do thy worst. Pump, I will never refuse good liquor.
Methinks both our trades would be like one another, for both chamberlains and footmen get their living by running up and down.
Nay, soft, a footman hath a better place, for he may go before his master.
Why? Are not chamberlains men of great calling? And everyone that hath to deal with them shall find them men of good reckoning.
Hey, Slip, there thou camest over me. But besides all this, footmen are very prudent, for their masters, never so wise, they must rise betimes if they will overreach them.
Faith, and chamberlains are as cunning, for they always have a trick to deceive their masters. If he be above, they undermine him. If below, they be sure to come over him.
Well, Slip, Pump will not fall out with you. We'll drown our quarrels in this glass of drink.
Enter Boot and Spur. Come, Spur, where art thou?
Hard at your heels.
I doubt but for thee, Spur, I hardly should have got to my journey's end tonight.
Faith, master, we were fain to prick on hard. Spur did his best to set you forward.
Well said, Spur. I see thou art all metal.
And yet, as soon as you are at your journey's end, you are ready to cast me off.
But yet thou hast the wit to stick close unto me.
I do it for all your own sake, for you can never ride without me.
This is one thing, Spur, I know thee trusty, for many times thou hast fought in blood up to the ears for my sake.
Nay, I would have you know my service on foot, too, for unless I attend you, you can walk in no fashion.
But, Spur, one thing I like not in thee, thou spoilest all my horses. Thou art a very sore rider.
I am as good as provender to your horses. I will stick close to their ribs.
Well, Spur, let it be your part to see my horses well curried while I go call for my lodging. Exit Spur. What chamber?
Oh, there's my master Boot. I know by his creaking. Slipper, now show you a slippery trick and slip away the jug, and I will bump for answer for my master.
Exit Slipper.
Oh, Master Pump stoops as low as your foot to welcome you to the sign of the leg.
Methinks, Pump, you are somewhat fine. I doubt somebody hath trimmed you since you came in.
Yes, need say your poor vassal hath been besling, and I have been with Slipper. Slipper and I have sat foot to foot and drunk.
Aye, these are old tricks. As long as there is any strong beer to be had, Pump will drink no water. But what have you provided for my supper?
Oh, faith, I've clean forgotten. I spoke for something, but I know not what. Call up the chamberlain. He knows more of your mind.
Just such a trick you served me at Flushing when you was drunk.
Master, if you will believe me, I was as sober then as I am now.
'Tis well you can be drunk and stand to it. What, Chamberlain? Enter Slipper.
Anon, sir, what is your worship's pleasure?
What did my man bespeak for supper?
3 jugs of beer and half a dram of tobacco. Oh, I cry you mercy. I mistook the room.
Do you not know, then, what's provided for my supper?
Not very well, sir, but whatsoever it be, it shall be ready for your worship. But you shall be sure of a mess of salad oil and a dish of fresh butter.
Very good.
Nay, it shall be very good.
In good time.
And you shall have it in good time.
Nay, good slipper, stand not so much upon your pantables, but answer me soberly to one question. Do you not know one Master Shoe?
Yes, sir, there are two of the name. One of them is the High German and the other a Low Countryman.
I mean him that dwells in the town.
I know him very well. He's a man of good fashion and a continual housekeeper.
And I hear good report of him. That Master Shoe is a very upright man.
Yeah, for all that he'll go awry sometimes, and this is his fault, for he loves to be greased often. But as I take it, here comes the gentleman.
Enter Shoe, and Shoe Tie. Clashes increasingly get close.
String. Oh, is that you?
Yes,
Yes.
he is Shoe. You are Shoe. Yes, you are Shoemaker later on,
Got it.
as you were.
String.
Shoe.
Thank you. String, come tie my shoe.
What little go by the grounds that?
Hang by of master shoes. They call him a shoe tie, a fellow I'm not beholden to. But farewell, Pump.
Slipper, farewell. Pump will have a single bout and on with you.
Exit Slipper, which is good because he's also reading Shoe Tie.
Sirrah, how does my cousin Stocking?
Faith, sir, he was lately a-dying, but now he's on the mending hand.
Why, what's the matter?
They say he took a grief because he stretched himself so far for master leg that he broke.
Well, if that be all, we'll have the matter taken up. But for my neighbour's foot, what say he?
Nary Foot says he scorns to be kept in by you, and vows, as he is a part of the body politic and a member of the Commonwealth, that he will stand in opposition against you, and do his best to tread you under.
Alas, poor wretch. I took him in when he might have stood and cooled his toes. But 'tis no matter, let him go whither he will. He never comes within my latch. Against you and the do his best to. Again, tread under, but it's not yonder Master Boot.
Master Shoe.
Your poor friend Shoe will always be ready to do Boot any service, one that will even spend life and soul to do any good. But methinks, Master Boot, you look somewhat old, for are you very full of wrinkles?
Age and travel will alter men.
I hope Boot hath been no greater traveller.
No, as great as any that goes upon the earth for travel. Karoulla could never come near me.
I think so, for Coryat went always on foot, and you travel always.
Surely, I think he took great pains and travelled hard for it, but his crudities, I could never digest them. He cannot pass by so much as a walnut tree, but he needs must have a fling at it. He can as well be hanged as pass by gibbet, and every pair of gallows he renounces as if they were as famous as Hercules' pillars with nil ultra, but because he is my fellow traveller, I let him pass.
But what say you to St. John Mandeville? They say he was at the world's end. And then I am sure none of you can go beyond him.
I think for Ling he will lie to a hare. He goes and loses the hair off his head in some hot skirmish and then says it was burnt off with going too near the sun.
Faith, that was but a bald excuse, and yet it was well enough put off. But let's leave these land travellers for a company of dry fellows. Now for watermen, let's have an oar in your boat. What say you to Drake and Candish?
Faith, for Candish, he made a good voyage at first, but at the second he had so far engaged himself that he was clean over ears. Here was a weir, and so at the end he proved a castaway.
'Tis an excellent thing in the mariner to keep himself within company. But how sped Drake?
Oh, Drake at the first was but a wild fellow, but before he had done, he so trounced the Spaniards that he made them quake.
And therefore, methinks seamen of all men stand best for their tracking. But what's the reason the Puritans cannot abide them?
I think it is because they hate the See of Rome.
Oh, it may be because they use the cardinal winds.
Or perhaps because they detest the invention of cards. Never mind.
Or else it's because they have always a pilot in their company.
And I am partly of their mind. I have gone as far as any man, and yet by my goodwill, boot should never take water. But by this time, Master Shoe, I think your heels do ache with standing, and therefore sit down here, and I'll unfold unto you the whole discourse of my travels in private. Exit Boot and Shoe. Shall I just pause there to take in some of the most terrible jokes that I've heard in a long time. Some very the Sea of Rome gag. Oh well, yeah. Oh, followed up with the cardinal winds. Oh, ow, kill me now. Aha. There's some interesting, what seems to be sort of literary criticism going on here as well. So this is doing interesting mix of things. It's not just doing I am a boot, I am a shoe, I am a spur gags. It's dancing around where it's placing its humour in slightly different ways. We've got straightforward sort of class servant-master relationship stuff of people, the servants just going, should we just get pissed? Yes. Of course, playing on pump as someone who's just going to imbibe as much liquid as possible. This is doing all sorts of interesting things. Thoughts in the room about this one? So we're about halfway through, maybe a little bit more. Aliki.
I can quite visualize this one, and I really like the conceit of all the footwear being travelers of sort. But I have to admit, my favorite joke is still that Drake made the Spaniards quack.
Yes, I didn't quite give that its correct weight. I apologise. I only quite appreciated the joke after I'd said it. Such is life. Other thoughts? Who wants to leap in? Someone else surely has other thoughts. Eric.
I feel we needed one of those, what do you call them? Either a wah-wah pedal or just like a sort of sound. Yeah. Just sort of for those last few jokes, just because, they were bad. I mean, we've had bad jokes though before. I mean,
No, I mean, I don't think they know that they're in any doubt that they're bad jokes. I don't think anyone is here going that this is the acme of comedy. I think again the nature of these entertainments is that actually the audience is sort of is there to groan as much as to laugh. Actually, that seemed to be how I feel about it. But yeah, it's keeping good company so far. I'm sort of enjoying that. Any other thoughts in the room before we conclude this exciting adventure? Okay, so Boot and Shoe have decided to go off and have a little natter. We are left with Shoe Tie and Pump. Who are remain the same people. Shoe-tie will change to be me later on, but for the moment it is Boot and Shoe exit, Shoe-tie and Pump on.
Now, whilst my master and Master Boot are settled, I'll enter company with this young gentleman. Sir, your friend Shoe-tie had no sooner got loose, but he must needs salute you in the way of kindness.
Sir, in reciprocal congratulation, I kiss the very shadow of your shoestring.
Pray you, sir, let me crave your name.
Oh, do then.
Then, with your good leaving and liking, what's your name?
My name, sir, is Water Pump.
Very well, Water. I thought all this while your name was Water, you look so thin on it. Surely he that made your trousers was a very good tailor, for he went roundly to work.
Why, Sir Ajaxace, I hope I may wear these knocks in spite of your nose.
Surely you're a very fortunate man. You were lapped in your mother's smock, for she has given you one of her old blankets.
Shoot I, you harp too much upon one string. Though your tongue be never so busy about my knocks, I would not have you think that you can put down my breeches.
Shite on your breeches, I care not a fart for them.
Well, I perceive, shoot I, if I should stay never so long, you'll never leave wagging. Therefore I'll leave you to my fellow spur.
We can infer, I suspect, the exit of Pump at that point. And it really is ringing the changes of the kind of jokes that we're getting here, isn't it? That just sort of slapped us all in the face with a bucket of water. Yes. I will knock jokes. I was sort of I was expecting knock jokes, not knock jokes. And then yeah, shite on your breeches. I care not a fart for them. Okay, good.
Yeah, this one's weird. Like, are they insulting one another's clothing, or is this like flirtation? Seduction of sorts, perhaps.
Maybe. Anyway, we will go on. I don't think there's a lot to say here, but I thought that moment needed marking. Okay. So exit Pump by the looks of things, but we definitely have entrance of Spur with a cloak bag. Sorry.
Good hostler, if ever thou meant to curry favor with me, look well to my horses, and let them be well littered, or else I shall not care a straw for thee. Do not play the fresh serving man with them and take away their meat before they have done, but lay down their provender before them, and let them try it out by the teeth.
Master Boot is a strange man. He hath a pair of servingmen that look as though they were not fellows. One is in his knocks, and the other in his cloak bags. Pray you, sir, before you go, give me leave to spur you one question.
Sir, if you will give me leave to kick you an answer.
Pray you, sir, what countryman are you?
A Northamptonshire man. I was born at Rowell.
I had thought you had been a German. You are somewhat akin to Kickerman.
I perceive, shoot I, you were a notable slipstring. But Sirrah, is your master here?
What if he be? Spur hath nothing to do with him.
Oh yes, he is come in very good time, for all my horses want shoes.
Do not disparage my master. I will not change without Boot.
Nor I with you, for all the horses in your shop.
Go to, hold your peace, for if Boot be too lusty, we'll have him strapped.
Nay, boy, then hold your prating. If shoe fly out, I'll clout him myself. What is thy master? He's but a citizen. He is but a prentice at the best.
And thy master Boot is a traveller, and therefore he's but a journeyman.
Shoot, I hold your peace, or else I shall hang you up for the sign of the rose.
I can tell you that my rose is the best flower in my master's garden. But I wonder, Spur, why you are so sharp. Well, for all your great sword, if I once buckle with you, I'll leather your hide.
I hope my sword does not trouble you. If you be too busy, shoot I, take heed, for this is the great sword that cut the Gordian knot.
I could never tell the reason why every such clownish serving man is tied to such a sword, unless it be that they fart when they fart, they may quickly touch cold iron.
Sarah, I'll tell you with the point. I'll prick a hole in your coat, and with the hilt pummel you about your pate.
But stay, here comes your master to take you off.
Master Shoe, you and I come both from one house, for as antiquaries say, we are lineally descended from Thong Castle.
Stay there, Master Boot. I think you be wide. For I've heard some hold in that our ancestors were born in Bulverhide. But it's no great matter. It's certain we came both from one stock.
But I forgot to tell you one thing. As I passed along this town side, he says, looking at the map, I had much ado to escape this tree, and so coming along France to Dieppe, I fell up to the top in a deep hole, and was so bemired that I was fain to get an ostler to make me clean.
By your lady, sir, it was a foul mishap.
Nay, I can tell you, Boot hath had many of these journeys, for he hath gone through thick and thin.
Well, now I see plainly before my face that you are a great traveller. You excel Ulysses himself. For all he was so long abroad that when he came home his wife knew him no more than his dog, Aeneas. Though he was a true Trojan, yet came far behind you.
As for Ulysses, Circe made a hog-grubber of him, and for Aeneas, any ass may do as much as he did.
Good sir, let me but entreat one thing of you, that you would bestow this map on me.
Faith, Shoe, I'll be lot to stick with you for anything, but you must pardon me. I would not part with this map for a world, but I think I have held you too long, and therefore to wind up all in a word after this raw discourse, to stop your mouth, I invite you to a part of a bad supper.
No, faith, sir, I am to go another way.
Nay, Master Shoe, I will not be put off so.
Then, good Master Boot, lead you the way. I will follow at an inch.
Exeunt Boot and Shoe.
I hope, sir, you are somewhat cooler. You are not a hot spur still.
Nay, faith, sir, my little minim, it was but a flash. But why went my fellow pump away?
It seems he had been drinking somewhat stiff, and your fellow pump could not hold his water.
And we'll just briefly pause here because we're about to slightly move people around. I just wish to apologise for not landing on the Aeneas any ass joke there. I apologise again. The excellency of that joke needs to be just mentioned there. I just there's some references here. There was some wordplay about roses that I wondered, was I missing a joke there? Because it felt like it was a joke, but I couldn't figure out what the joke was, and I was assuming it was probably going to be rude, but I just didn't manage to untie it. My rose is the best flower in my master's garden. It feels like it's a punchline, but I've no idea what the joke is. Any thoughts?
Huh.
Who said it?
It's spur and shoe tie, because they're talking about hang you up for the sign of the rose, and then it's
a shoe tie is a ribbon. You can definitely make a rose shape out of a ribbon.
I was also wondering if it was a sound alike, if it was rose, as in more than one row. And also a spur is kind of rose-shaped, a rosette.
I'm going to have to look into some period fashion about this, because I think, I'm remembering some stuff that I can't quote in this room, but
yes, there's quite a lot of stuff we can't quote in this room.
But it's to do with wearing flowers on your shoes, on your pumps. So I think a little flower made out of ribbon might have been an adornment that you wear on your shoe. And the ribbon might have also served for a shoe tie. I'm not sure about this. So fashion historians, speak up.
Yes.
Unless
we have
it was a nosegay of some. Because in the very first or the forgive me, the little one with gown, hood, and cap. His gown's first line is, "I know not. Oh, I smell you now by your rose." It's
Yes, in a previous entertainment that we looked at, there's something going on there that I feel we need to get at. But yeah, it's throwing all sorts of interesting things back. I mean, and then of course just such low level humor of I fell in a hole full of mud and it was a foul mischance. I mean, it was just thank you. I mean, classic work here. Some classic. Okay, let's read our final little a little bit of text. So I'm stepping in as Shoetie now to avoid the clash with Slipper, who is Eric. So I am now reading Shoetie. I am no longer reading Boot. So enter Slipper with a jug of beer and a glass in his hand.
Sorry, I've lost my place. How now, Slipper? Never without a jug of beer in your hand?
Aye, here you may see as in a glass the life that we chamberlains do lead.
Come, 'tis in a good hand. Pray thee, begin to somebody.
You may be sure, sir, I'll not begin to you, for I was never bound to you, Shoetie.
And that's it, Slipper, hath made you such a loose fellow.
Go to, Shoetie, you are a notable wagtail. Here's to thee, Spur, thou art all steel to the back.
Come, I'll never refuse, Chamber, but I am half out of love with these hostlers. One of them last night gave me such a wipe.
Slipper drinks. What, a whole one?
What? A whole one. What else? Slipper was always a dry fellow.
And I have always marked this in him that never while Slipper is sober he is in the plain fashion, but when he is tipsy he is always in his turnovers.
Well said, Shoetie. If you use these tricks long, you may chance to come to be knit up. But I pray you, sir, take your liquor.
Here, Shoetie.
Drinks.
In truth, I wonder at these chapsters, how they can bear such a deal of drink. Such another glass as this would make Spur's head run round.
Enter Pump.
I thought where I should find you. You must stand bistling here while poor Pump must dance attendance. Come away quickly, or else my master swears he'll have you all set in the shoemaker's stocks.
Faith for my master's shoe, I care not. I have him in a string.
For my master Boot, I've served him off and on a good while, and wherefore he may now forbear me a little.
Faith, Pump, methinks thou standest as though thou hadst neither life nor soul. Wilt thou drink with us, Pump?
No, by no means. I had as lieve you should pour it in my shoes.
I hope, Pump, you may be drawn on by a little and little.
Nay, if you be thereabouts, I must take my heels.
Exit Pump.
Though I care not for my master, yet I love my supper. Therefore let's go in, and after supper we'll have a catch in the chimney corner.
Content. Exit Shoetie.
Pray you, sir, while you sing the song, let me bear the burden.
Takes the cloak bag.
Thank you heartily. 'Tis for my own ease. I hope you have never a cloak for your knavery, for if you have, you have given me the bag handsomely.
Exeunt Slipper and Spur. Epilogue. A shoemaker with an end in the one hand and an awl in the other.
Gentlemen, the epilogue is now returned at the last with a shoemaker's end. This is all. If bungler like my work be brought to an end, I'm but a cobbler, who you know amen. Next time I hope my work shall be more meet, now I have learned the length of all your feet. But if in workmanship I do excel, I know your bounty, you will pay me well. Or else I'll trust and booked in your commands, so that you will subscribe it with your hands.
And it ends. So, do we have a drinking game here at the end, or is it just who can down it in one? It just seems to be everybody's downing their drinks. Is that what a whole one is we're referring to, or is that referring to something other than the diet? It does seem that it's just like...
Yes, I think it's a whole pint.
Yeah. Or a yard, I don't know. This thing is throwing quite a lot out in different directions, and I think it's not inherently a bad thing for this kind of entertainment to do that, of just go, what sticks, what jokes are going to land? Well, if we just keep throwing them in slightly different directions, some of them will make it. It's just student humor, eh? So yeah. Plus, so drinking at the end, and then while you sing a song. Is that actually a music cue, or just a sort of just a thing that they're saying about exiting? Doesn't look like it's a functional music cue, but maybe they all sing a song at the end anyway. That's what you do when you get drunk, isn't it? I think that's the traditional activity, I believe. I don't know.
A catch in the chimney corner.
So yeah, I mean, we've looked at a few of these, and some of these are more actionable than others. This is, I mean, actionable in different ways. This one, I think it's stupid enough that it works. I think there's enough. There is some stuff that's obscure. I mean, when we've got all the stuff about, various travellers and their accounts of their travels and their opinions of those travels, and various famous figures and things, that might be a bit trickier. But I think an audience will probably get what the gag is, even if they don't necessarily get the reference. I think most people get the Drake jokes. They'll get the Sea of Rome joke. They'll get, yeah. There's some good stuff. Final thoughts on this one around the room, Liza.
Well, it seems to me that there are still jokes that indicate that the characters in this one are objects and accoutrements personified. But in this one, more than in the other ones, it seems that they're also people, that they're a household, they have relationships. Slipper is a Slipper, but he's also a Chamberlain. That is, he's the hotel keeper in this inn that they're the sign of the leg that they're all in. So the characters do, it's a longer play, but the characters have, I think, more individual personalities. So it sustains it. I think it sustains it as a nice little theater piece.
Yes, this is longer than some of the other. Well, it's also shorter than. There are sort of these entertainments that are just sort of little mini debates where or discourses, whereas this feels more like it's a little series of sketches, and it's a little slice of life and within the shoe fraternity kind of thing. Aliki, anything final on our Boot and Spur universe?
Yeah, not really. I've taken with what Liza said, that they're more people, and it feels more like a play and a little bit less like a set of jokes than some other things along these lines we've done.
Yeah. Tom, any final thoughts on Boot and Spur?
I like the fact that it's all done around the inn of the leg. Was it? Liza said. I thought that summed it up, and I just thought the last piece was that that end act of everybody just going, it's late at night, we've all done a lot, let's just down a few and just dissolve, basically.
Yes, I do like this is an inn with the sign of the leg, and that you the way they're prompting that, it feels like it's behind you moment at the top of the play of just going, I'm looking for the sign of the leg. Is there? And they'll have made a sign, and it's hanging behind. So again, it's asking for a moderately rowdy audience. I feel that you need. I don't think this is polite. Oh yes, that was very good, well done, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, given some of the jokes of this, you probably wouldn't want a very polite audience. I don't know what else to add. It's not quite as funny as the previous ones, I think, but I I like how there's this internal world of like you can see people like working on this, like sort of trying to develop characters and stuff, and just one-upping each other, and
Because, you know, some of the other ones we've looked at in the past, you know, going all the way back to things like Narcissus and things, which is definitely more of a play than this is. You know, in the sense it has separate scenes and an ongoing narrative arc, as well as just random silliness and terrible jokes. This one is somewhere between that and your more sketch. This is a sort of extended sketch. Where someone spent some time building a little world and having fun with it and throwing in some other material as well. Okay, well, that is it for Boot and Spur, and now over to generic closing announcements. Well, we've enjoyed this insert academic entertainment here. All that remains to thank all the wonderful readers, Tom, Eric, Liza, and Aliki, for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. A line from the end of the play.